Derby ladies, Jane Furness of Sheffield, who was 7th in the World Championship at this distance, Ruth Smeeth, Debbie Peel, Kath Carter, who've all got Olympic qualifying times, the Sammy twins, Kim Locke from Cardiff and Julie Holland from Sale. And watching this scene with fascination, and particularly little Zola Budd, is Brendan Foster.
Well, when I arrived at the stadium tonight, I really felt sorry for Zola Budd because there's been billboards all over the place proclaiming Zola going for the world record tonight. We've seen headlines in the London evening papers tonight about a political storm that she's got herself into. And really, she's here to be an athlete. And I think it's about time that we just let her be an athlete. And, you know, as an athlete, there are so many pressures involved with just running that any external pressures, I think, are above and beyond the call of duty. And I think the athletes are really now starting to admire Zola because none of us, Steve Ovett, Steve Cram, Sebastian Coe, myself, Dave Moorcroft, have ever had the pressure on us outside of running that little Zola has. And we saw at Cwmbran last week what a great athlete she is. And I think we're going to see an awful lot of her. And this is our better event. So I hope it's about time that we go back just to running.
And in fact, she's lining up with no shoes yet again. And she certainly looked more fluid at Cwmbran without the shoes on the second day when she won the 1500-metre final. Position just being pointed out in the lineup. Number 12, next to her is the Scottish international Yvonne Murray. Number 7. That's number 2, rather. Is one of the Tooby twins. That's Angela Tooby. Number 10, Sarah Ing from Sweden, Swindon, rather. Sorry. There's Christine Benning, number 1. Number 3 is Susan Tooby, the other twin. Number 13, with a big smile, Kathy Carter from Sale. Number 4 is Julie Ann Lawton from Derby Ladies. Number 17, Shireen Sammy, one of the twins. And number 5, right on the outside, is Susan Crehan of Sutton Harriers. A bigger field than Zola Budd's used to, and I suppose she'll try and keep out of trouble early on, but she'll be out in front making the pace if we get what we expect. Number 15 on the inside is Welsh international Kim Locke from Cardiff. 3,000 metres, 7.5 laps of the track. And there's quite a lot of shouting going on in the background. Unsettling the athletes, and there's, I don't know whether it's down near the start, but there's quite a lot of shouting, whether it was barracking or not, I don't know, or whether it was just enthusiasm. But I think there's a banner out there. First past the post, if she's got an Olympic qualifying time, will be selected. And the Olympic qualifying time is 9 minutes and 5 seconds. And we've already got 11 qualifiers. Zola Budd keeping out of trouble right at the back of the field and very, very wide indeed. Debbie Peel up there with the leaders. Right behind her, Christine Benning. And also there is Ruth Smeeth of Aldershot, the same club as Zola Budd. And Zola Budd coming up on the outside now. Out of trouble, and she's going to go to the front almost immediately. Debbie Peel on the inside. Zola Budd's right there. And also up there is Jane Furness, 7th in the World Championship from Sheffield. So they're going to try and keep the pressure on Budd and not let her run away from them. Still Debbie Peel leading. Budd in 2nd place. Jane Furness and one of the Toobies, 3rd and 4th. Christine Benning about 7th or 8th. Brendan Foster.
Well, actually, I expected Zola to stay off the pace for a little while, and then we would maybe see her running over the last 4 laps, but she's really gone about this aggressively. And it's interesting to see Jane Furness, who really is in 3rd place there, who's one of our better athletes. She's one of our world-class 3,000-metre runners. She followed Zola Budd and very quickly got detached. And I just wonder what kind of pace they're running here because the field's really stringing out very quickly.
First lap, 67 seconds, and that's inside a British record pace. Zola Budd leading, Debbie Peel in 2nd place. Jane Furness in 4th, the 3rd and 4th girls are already losing touch. And she really is pounding along in front. And looking very impressive indeed. She's really strung that field out.
This is really aggressive running. That's very, very fast. You can tell the way the girls are strung out how fast they're going. And Zola Budd is just pushing along. She's starting to make it look like a men's distance running race because you can see them applying the pace. And the girls behind her, Jane Furness in 4th place, Debbie Peel in 2nd, Tooby in 3rd place, and Chris Benning. They're world-class athletes, and we're starting to see something which we read about in the magazines going on in South Africa, but we hadn't really seen on the track in Britain, and we're seeing it tonight, a front-running genius here.
A little bit of a demonstration at one point in the stands, but now the athletics has taken over, and the crowd has taken over Zola Budd as well. They realise they've seen something sensational. The second lap, 68 seconds after 67, 2:15 at 800, and she's on schedule at the moment for something inside 8 minutes 40 seconds. The Commonwealth record held by Wendy Sly, who's ill and can't compete tonight, 8:37.06. Five laps to go. And Budd running right away from Debbie Peel. And Christine Benning making no attempt, or Jane Furness, to go with the pace. She's really burned them off. So Angela Tooby now has gone into 2nd place, the Cardiff girl. And what a lovely stride this Zola Budd's got. She really does flow over the ground. Very wide arm carriage, but her leg action is absolutely perfect. And she just knocked in a 69-second lap, still on target for the British record.
Well, the British girls in the chasing group really now should concentrate on getting together and trying to push themselves along to a fast time. Chris Benning is a very experienced athlete in 3rd place there, just moving alongside one of the two Tooby twins there from Cardiff. But Chris Benning moving into 2nd place now. She's been against the world-class distance runners from Russia and East Germany before. She's never seen anybody take a 3,000 meters race out like this before. But I mean, there are 3 places for selection. There's Wendy Sly, the UK record holder, who isn't here tonight. But there are places for selection, and it's about time they started thinking about keeping cool and doing their best, because this kind of pace we really haven't seen on a track in England before.
Actually interesting, Brendan, that the chasing group are just beginning to close very slightly. Christine Benning, well, the pace has been very even in front, 67, 68, 69, but they are beginning to close very slightly. That's Angela Tooby in 2nd place, Jane Furness is up there, Christine Benning's up there, and Susan Tooby as well. Just completed 4 laps, 4:35 for 4 laps, and that was a slower lap at 71. And in fact, they're now something outside. That's about 8:33, 8:34, slowing down a little bit, but they still are inside the British record.
But doesn't Zola Budd look so good? She's stretching out there, she's looking quite comfortable, she's looking strong, and you know, let's not get the wrong idea, but these girls behind are world-class long distance and 3,000 meter runners. There are 4 of them, and they're all British girls. They're all very good. They've had great experience on cross-country and 3,000 meters, so it's not an easy field she's running against, and look what she's doing to them. It's really impressive, and I'm very, very happy that we've seen for once in a long time a British girl taking out a field like this.
She's starting to go away again. So Angela Tooby in 2nd place. Christine Benning is 3rd. Susan Tooby 4th. And Jane Furness in 5th place. That was a 70-second lap, so she started to increase the pace again. Only 5 feet 2, weighs 6.5 stones, but she's got some power in those legs. And there's tremendous applause for her in the main stand. But she's beginning to suffer a little bit now at 800 meters to go.
Well, she had to come here and run like this to take the pressure off all the external things that have been happening to her. And I think every athlete in Britain who's watching this will be happy that now she's able just to go out and run. And hopefully people will start talking about her running ability and not about the other things that seem to surround her life since she came from South Africa.
Well, she's got the stride going again, and she's certainly broken the British girls now. Angela Tooby in 2nd place, and Christine Benning is back now, some way back, dropped from the other 3 British girls. It's Angela Tooby in 2nd place, Susan Tooby's 3rd, and Jane Furness in 4th place. Has completed 6 laps, and that was another 70-second lap. And she's almost on pace for the British record, just about level pace for the British record. British record held by Wendy Sly. It's also the Commonwealth record, 8 minutes 37.06. Coming up to the bell. And as she goes through, she's got to run the last lap in about 67 seconds, which is on, which is certainly on for the record. Tooby in second place, Furness is third, and Susan Tooby fourth, Christine Benning fifth. But she's really accelerating down that back straight now. The Jubilee stand rising to her. And I wonder how many recognize that here we're seeing possibly a new record run. 200 meters left. It's a battle with the clock and a battle with herself. Remember the target, 8 minutes 37.06, set by Wendy Sly. She's beginning to tire now, the legs are getting heavy. But she could do it. The crowd doing all they can to help. It's going to be very, very close, but she's slowing down all the time, and I think she'll just miss it. And in fact, it's just outside the British record. But an emphatic win for Zola Budd, and that surely means Olympic selection. In second place, Angela Tooby. In third place, Jane Furness. In fourth place, Susan Tooby. And in fifth place, Christine Benning. And sixth will be Kathy Carter from Sale. 8 minutes 40.22 seconds. The second fastest time ever by a British athlete. Brendan Foster.
Well, that was an excellent run. I mean, the British record held by Wendy Sly was done in the World Championships in great competition. We saw this girl come here. She led almost from the start, and having been exposed to myself in the past at Crystal Palace like she's been in the lead, I can imagine she's going to be able to go a lot faster than that. And it was a tough race. She ran hard, she pushed herself, but she certainly won the hearts here at Crystal Palace, and she won the hearts for running. That was a great run in second place by Angela Tooby, and in third place by Jane Furness. It would have been pretty quick, and I would imagine that we're looking at Olympic selection for those two girls. And here she has to receive the acclaim of the crowd.
Coming across to the main stand, and just listen to the applause. And this crowd has enjoyed a new world junior record, 8 minutes 40.2 seconds, a new world junior best. It's not quite as fast as she's run in South Africa, but her time in South Africa not recognized because the South Africans are not members of the International Federation.
Gentleman on the left there going forward to protect her is a club president who met her for the first time at Cwmbran. He's absolutely delighted, though, Aldershot Farnham District. And that was an impressive piece of front running, and this crowd at Crystal Palace particularly love front runners. And she set off after about 200 metres, took the lead, and never looked like losing it after that.
Yes.
Actually, her time is the fastest in the world this year, as well as being a world junior best. She has run faster herself before. As I said, that's not recognisable, having been achieved in South Africa. The little girls had no chance at all to go back to her fellow athletes.
Oh, what's a stand-up?
Yeah, all right. Okay, should be page 15.
Excuse me, Zola. I wonder if there's a sense of relief now that perhaps it's all behind you and you've got the qualification as a British citizen.
Yes, I'm very glad. I can settle down now and concentrate on running.
Did you enjoy that tonight? Because you got a marvellous reception from the crowd here at Crystal Palace.
Yes, I enjoyed it very much. Yes.
Of course, there have been so many pressures on you, haven't there? There was one or two people in the crowd who were perhaps shouting things to you tonight?
Second place with a time of 10.60 was number 2, Buster Watson.
I really don't take notice of them because I don't think they know what it's all about.
Third place with a time of 10.62.
What is it about for you, Zola? I mean, was this your ambition? Have you fulfilled your ambition now? You're going to run for Britain at the Olympics?
The crowd turned on.
Yes, it is an ambition, but my great ambition
The remaining results
and
displayed on the scoreboard. The wind reading
for which I
was
work is the
1.5 meters
1988
per second with
Olympics, which I think I will be more prepared for.
So what are your prospects for the 1984 Olympics then? 'Cause I think a lot of people would like to know what chance you think you've got there.
If I get to the final, I'll be very glad.
Zola, do you now feel British? Do you feel as though all that is now in the past and that you've established your credentials not only on the track but also as a British citizen?
Yes, I feel I've established myself now.
Do you like it here?
Yes, very much.
The weather's not as good as South Africa, is it?
Actually, it's better now for training. You can train any day, any time of the day you like, and the weather is really very good.
Well, can I ask you just one more? Because what do you feel about the people who say you should come out now with a statement about your opinion about apartheid? What do you say to those people?
On the inside, Roy Dickens.
Then they must run on the track for a race.
Wearing 2.
Zola Budd, and our time confirmed at 8 minutes 40.2 seconds.
Sprinters out on the track for the final of the 400 metres. Let me just tell you that Mike McFarlane was confirmed as the winner of the 100 metres in 10.59. Buster Watson in second, 10.60. And Donovan Reid in third, 10.62. So 300 separating them. And I think the 400 metres is going to be a real cracker over one lap. Todd Bennett goes in lane 4, and the UK champion, Chris Akabusi, goes in 5. Phil Brown in 2, and the much improved Roy Dickens in lane 1, and Alan Slack's in there from Wakefield, all of them running very much better this season. Then outside Chris Akabusi, we've got Nigel Kitchen, Derek Redmond and Terry Whitehead. Roy Dickens of Shaftesbury won his semi. Phil Brown eased his way to the line, 6th in the Commonwealth Games, of course, and so very, very effective as the last leg runner on Britain's 4x400 metres squad. Alan Slack in lane 3 wears 3. Won his semi-final 46.83. But the buzz is still on about Todd Bennett's sprinting speed over 200 metres. He won his semi absolutely cruising in 46.48, but it was his speed in the UK Championships over 200 in 20.36 that has left the track and field world agog since Cwmbran. Chris Akabusi, the Army sergeant from Southampton and Eastleigh, in 5. 46.69 in his semi-final. The reigning Army and Inter-Services champion. There's Todd Bennett. Akabusi outside him. Todd Bennett, the smallest man in the field, only 22, but really is looking world-class at the moment. Nigel Kitchen in 6. Derek Redmond, the 18-year-old Luton boy, in 7. Terry White from Haringey in lane 8. So all eyes on this. Todd Bennett got Akabusi outside him, and there's no change in the echelon at the moment. Alan Slack, if anything's making a little up on Todd Bennett, and now Todd Bennett's beginning to cruise, and Akabusi has closed down on Nigel Kitchen. Todd Bennett is now moving fluently into the 200-metre stage. Alan Slack is going well in lane 3. These two pulling away at the moment. Todd Bennett in 4, Alan Slack in 3. Nicely off the bend. Alan Slack still pushing Todd Bennett, but watch him move into another gear now. Roy Dickens on the inside, still got a bit. Phil Brown coming again. Phil Brown chasing Todd Bennett, these two pulling away. Todd Bennett is there. Chris Akabusi in 3rd, Phil Brown in 2nd, and that was 45.56, and that was superb. That's a lifetime best for Todd Bennett, as well as confirming the trip that we all knew that he would make to Los Angeles. But wasn't it good to see Phil Brown in good individual form? He always sprints well on that last leg, but my word, he came hard, and in coming hard, he closed the gap on Chris Akabusi, and that off the bend was really some one-lap race. Roy Dickens on the inside, still ahead of Phil Brown at this stage. Alan Slack on the shoulder of Todd Bennett, lanes 3 and 4. Watch Phil Brown all in black in lane 2. Gets past Alan Slack now and is really pushing Todd Bennett to the line. And now watch tall Chris Akabusi in lane 5, wearing 1, close the gap down as Todd Bennett hits the tape. Phil Brown gets 2nd, Chris Akabusi gets 3rd, and they'll all be delighted with their times. We know that Todd Bennett's time was 45.56, but that must have pulled Phil Brown and Chris Akabusi to very fast times indeed. Another marvellous run from the man from Southampton and Eastleigh.
Well, the next race should be a beauty. It's the 800 metres, in which Peter Elliott takes on an international class field. But let's have a look now at the two semi-finals run earlier tonight. That was the lineup in the first semi-final, and we join them now as they approach the bell.
Coming up to the bell, Gareth Brown leads. On his shoulder is Rob Harrison. Paul Forbes is there on the outside with Gary Cook boxed just a little bit in the white and red in the centre. And Gary Cook wearing 10, and they took the bell in 52.9. Gareth Brown of Cardiff, the 22-year-old who's at Iowa State University, has been running very strongly since he's been home, but so too has Rob Harrison. And Rob Harrison on his shoulder poised nicely. Gary Cook with the upright stance, moving away from Paul Forbes. Tall Colin Swed on the outside. And the battle on now with 200 metres to go. First three plus the two fastest losers from two semi-finals. And it's going to be difficult to get through for Gary. He's got to move out. Gary Cook having a look. He knows the first three are comfortably through. Rob Harrison hits for home. Gareth Brown holds him off, and Paul Forbes can't do anything about it. Coming hard on the outside is John Blackledge, but the first three are the three big names. It's Gary Cook in third place, Rob Harrison in second, and the winner Gareth Brown making certain of a place in that final. And their time, 1:47.39.
Approaching the bell in the second semi-final of the 800 metres, it's the UK champion Peter Elliott in front. Fourth in the World Championships. In second place is Gary Marlowe of Bracknell. And third at the moment, Darrell Taylor of Sale. 52 seconds at the bell. It's pretty fast. Elliott still leading in his usual place in front where he likes to be. Gary Marlowe in second place. Icon Billy now of Wirral is in third place. And fourth, going through fourth, the tall figure of John Gladwin of Belgrave. Three only sure to qualify, plus the two fastest losers from the semi-final. A little bit of bumping going on. Icon Billy suffered a little bit. That's the penalty for being on the curb at 200 to go in a tightly packed field like this. Elliott kicking along in front. Gladwin in second place. Icon Billy off the curb now in third place. And these look like the three are coming through. And it's Crabb, in fact, who's gone into second place with Gladwin fourth. Still Elliott leading, Crabb of Enfield in second place, Icon Billy third, and here comes Gladwin on the outside. But the three qualifiers are away and clear. Elliott looking for trouble, there isn't anything there. Crabb wins, Elliott second, Icon Billy third, and Gladwin must wait to see if he qualifies as one of the faster losers, which he may well do. The time, 1:46.91 for Steve Crabb, and that is a personal best performance. And John Gladwin did get through. That's the lineup for the men's 800 metres final, which you can see in just a couple of minutes. In the meantime, though, let's meet a man who's certain now to go to the Olympic Games, Todd Bennett, who won the 400 metres.
Well, Todd Bennett, many congratulations. I must say you do seem to be a runner absolutely at the peak at the moment, having won the 200 metres at the UK Championships a few weeks ago, and now the qualification for Olympics at 400.
Yeah, it's going very well. Obviously the 200 last week was a big bonus, but the 400 tonight was very pleasing. To win it and do a PB, it's great.
It is felt there's probably not another 400-metre runner around at the moment who could match your speed over the 200.
No, I haven't really thought about it, but if you say it, no, there's not, I don't think, no. It's great, isn't it?
Are you feeling good?
Not at the moment, no.
I must say you're struggling for a bit of breath here, rather putting you on the spot by bringing you over so quickly.
I can't do anything.
All right, we'll leave it till you've got your breath back.
Thanks very much.
The way those athletes finished in the 400 metres augurs well for the 4x400 metres relay, in which, of course, Gary Cook is a valuable member, and he goes in the 800 metres next. The full lineup in the 800 metres will be John Blackledge of Blackpool on the inside, John Gladwin of Belgrave in lane 2, Gary Cook of Wolverhampton in lane 3, Icon Birry of Wirral in lane 4, Rob Harrison of Liverpool in lane 5, Peter Elliott, the UK champion from Rotherham, fourth in the World Championship in lane 6, Gareth Brown of Cardiff in lane 7, and Steve Crabb of Enfield right on the outside, the boy who got a personal best in the semi-final. But meanwhile, disappearing into the darkness there on the high jump run-up is
Jeff Parsons, the 19-year-old, was attempting 2 metres and 22, 7 feet 3.5. Parsons, the favourite for the first place here and qualification for the Olympics. He is the only Olympic qualifier at this height. 2 men left in. The other, Mark Naylor, the Hillingdon man, former UK record holder. First attempt then for Parsons. No. Not a very good attempt either. I looked a little lethargic. And you can see the procedure, or at least the heights at which he attempted. 2:10, he went clear at his first attempt, and 2:15, and 2:18, and 2:20. So he's jumped well so far, but he must learn that to go into world class, he's got to attack the bar once it gets a little higher than 2 meters 20. He is the United Kingdom record holder, but 2 meters 22 should be well within his compass.
Well, there in the foreground, the athletes getting ready for the start of this 800 meters. We've got a lot of qualifiers already, including several in this race. Gary Cook, Peter Elliott, they've already qualified. Rob Harrison too. John Gladwin has as well. But winning is all important. On the inside there, John Blackledge of Blackpool, one of the outsiders, 1:47.9 in his semi-final, almost his best time. Next to him, the tall figure of John Gladwin of Belgrave, last year's UK 1500 metres champion. Then in lane 3 wearing 10, Gary Cook, so valuable in the 4x400 metres relay team, comes from Wolverhampton and Bilston. Bronze in the Helsinki relay and 4th in the European 800 metres championship. In lane 4, Aiken Billy, Wirral AC, the European junior champion of last year. In lane 5, in cracking form as well, Rob Harrison of Liverpool. He's wearing number 2, just slightly hidden in the background. That's the yellow vest of Liverpool. 1:47.5 in the semi. He's done 1:45.5 last year. Peter Elliott, then the favourite from Rotherham, 21 years old, wearing number 1. Gareth Brown wears 3 next to the outside, and Steve Crabb of Enfield, who ran so well in the semi, right on the outside. The 800 metres Olympic trial. Only the winner, sure of selection, providing he's inside the qualifying time or has done it previously. Crabb right on the outside, gone off quickly, so too as Gary Cook and Rob Harrison as well. It's Gary Cook on the curb and Rob Harrison of Liverpool trying to get across Cook there. Right on the outside is Crabb, and there's some bumping and banging going on, which is inevitable. And Elliott just can't get through to his favourite position, which is in front. Gary Cook hopelessly boxed now in 4th place, and Elliott free on the outside. It's Harrison leading. In 2nd place, Gareth Brown. 3rd is Peter Elliott, and Cook trying to find a way on the curb. He's going the short way, but it's the dangerous way. Crabb is 5th. Aiken Billy comes up into 5th place. Again, a little bump. Rob Harrison looking for trouble as they go through the bell in 52 seconds, 52.2. Still Harrison leading, Elliott 2nd, Brown 3rd, Aiken Billy 4, Cook is 5, 6 is Crabb. And Cook's got to get off that curb if he's going to make any impact on this race. And he's trapped there by Aiken Billy. It's still Harrison leading, and Elliott now makes his strike for the front, but Harrison responds. Harrison determined not to give way, and Elliott has to give second best for a moment. They've got 200 metres to go, and Harrison determined to hold the curve all the way. It's Harrison leading, Elliott 2nd, Brown in 3rd place, Billy is 4th, Gary Cook in 5th. And the 2 leaders are now under threat. Elliott now's hit the front, Harrison tying up, and Elliott's kick, will it be enough? Aiken Billy, the European junior champion, coming on the outside, and Gary Cook coming terribly late. He's been in all sorts of trouble, and it's Elliott leading. Harrison in 2nd place, Aiken Billy 3rd. Cook, who was in trouble all the way, in 4th place. In 5th place was Brown, 6th was Crabb, 7th Blackledge, 8th was Gladwin. The time passed 1:45.72, and that was a fine run, a battering run by Peter Elliott. And that should ensure him the number 2 spot now at 800 metres, because Sebastian Coe has been pre-selected at this distance. So they're now looking for a 3rd man to go with them. Will it be Rob Harrison? Will it be Gary Cook? Will it be Aiken Billy? Will it be Steve Ovett? But certainly Elliott has done enough now to justify his selection, and one would be astonished if he doesn't get an Olympic ticket. It was an unusual race for him because he couldn't dominate the race from the front as he likes to do. And he struck the front just on the crown of the bend, and Harrison started to tie up but battled on. Now watch Gary Cook, who got himself off the curb here wearing number 10. He was in all sorts of trouble during the race, and of course the strike was far too late, and he had to put too much in and never looked like getting there. Elliott only 21. ran so many hard races last season, but he's showing no signs at all of pressure this, and wins once more. With Ike and Billy going into second place, I think perhaps with Harrison third. And in fourth place, Gary Cook, and a word from Brendan Foster.
An interesting thing here is that Peter Elliott does now fancy himself at the 1500 metres as well now. So we've seen him select peaks, done enough tonight to be selected for the 800 metres, and now he goes on to the 1500 metres. And his background is cross country, and he's strong enough to go 1500 metres. So he's decided that after this tonight, we'll see him over 1500 metres, and that's going to be an interesting proposition.
Incidentally, that will be at Gateshead on Sunday, when part 2 of the Olympic trials will be taking place. I gather there are a few tickets left, so if you want today's fun at the Gateshead Stadium, part 2 of the British Olympic trials take place there on Sunday afternoon. And what a fascinating event the 1500 metres should be that day, because Elliott, if he makes his bid for a place in that, Coe is the Olympic champion, of course. He's not selected yet, but Cram and Ovett are. So Elliott's out to prove something, and he's out to prove it to Seb Coe. Actually, I was just checking, it's the Emsley Car Mile that we're running in, not a Olympic 1500 metres, but still a point will be there to be made.
Right, Jeff Parsons, first attempt at 2 metres 24, and the good news for British high jumping is that Mark Naylor, at 26 years of age, has come back from injury and has cleared the Olympic qualifying height of 2 metres 22 and is ahead on countback of this young man. So Parsons, a lethargic first attempt at 2:22, which he failed, came through well on the second attempt, and he's the first man to go at 7 feet 4 1/4, 2 metres 24. So he knows that he has the tactical disadvantage by virtue of that cross next to 2:22. That indicates a failure. The noughts indicate successes. Oh, close, but now it's up to Mark Naylor. First failure then at 2 metres 24 for Parsons, and Parsons knows that he has to clear this height to be first and gain automatic selection for the Olympic Games. And Mark Naylor, and whilst Naylor moves out, I can tell you that Robert Weir, in the very last throw of the discus competition, threw 61 metres 30, 201 feet 1, to win the trial from Richard Slaney, the fiancé, of course, of Mary Decker. Paul Mardle of Wolverhampton and Bilston was in third. Keith Stock won the pole vault at 5 metres 25 from Jeff Gutteridge. Now, Mark Naylor, can he underline what could be an unexpected victory? Naylor, 2 metres 22, first attempt. His personal best equates to 2:24. That was the former United Kingdom record. The present record stands at 2:25, 7 feet 4 1/2, to Jeff Parsons. So, 9th in the Olympic final in 1980, and back in business. Too far away from the bar, but he still has the tactical advantage.
Meanwhile, on the rostrum, Zola Budd preparing to step forward to receive the award for winning the 3,000 metres from the first 4-minute miler, Sir Roger Bannister. And the time, a new world junior best, 8 minutes 40.22, of course well within the Olympic qualifying time. Angela Tooby second with a new Welsh record. A good run by the third girl, Jane Furness of Sheffield. And watching from a distance is the winner of the 800 metres, Peter Elliott.
Well done, Peter Elliott. Victory in the 800 metres takes you to Los Angeles in that event, but in fact the race wasn't run the way you normally like, was it?
No, I was going to take it on tonight, and my coach will face his weight after 400 metres because it's been pretty windy. Actually, there's no wind, but they just wouldn't let me take it on. Rob and Gareth, as soon as they saw me going to the front, they kicked on a bit. So I thought, well, I'll wait then if they want to go through first.
Yeah.
You know, it saves me doing it.
Steve Ovett wasn't here tonight. Was some disappointment that he wasn't here, that you couldn't have a head-to-head with him?
No, not really. I'm glad he wasn't. You know, he could stay at home, his best place. It would have been a lot harder race if Steve had been in it, so at least that was one out of the way.
Now, what about this decision of yours to go for 1,500 metres as well? There's only one place still left with Cram and Oved already pre-selected.
Yeah, it's sort of a joint decision between me and my coach. He decided that I should have a go at 1,500 just in case I didn't make the 800 metre team, so I had 2 strings to my bow sort of thing. I'll still be going for the 1,500 metres, but now it's not as important now that I've actually qualified for the 800, because the 800 is my main event.
Do you think it was wise to split yourself like that and think about 2 events, 800 and 15?
I do, yes, because like I said, anything could have happened here tonight. I could have got tripped over or anything. And, you know, I think tonight was the last actual chance to qualify. So I think it's a good idea, yeah.
Well done.
Thank you very much. Right.
Well, we shall have more athletics for you later. Meanwhile, back here in the Sportsnight studio, I've been watching those events in company with David Moorcroft, the world 5,000 metres record holder, who of course has pre-qualified already for Los Angeles. I think we'll talk about Zola Budd first, don't you? That was an amazing piece of front running.
She's a very special lady. You know, as Brendan said, we've read a lot about her and seen a lot about her in magazines, but to actually see her go to the front and destroy a field like that is very exciting. It's made even more incredible by the fact that she withstands all this great pressure. Now, we talk about pressure. We think we've had problems in the past, but nobody's had the sort of problems she's had to contend with. And maybe it's her innocence or just her uninhibited style that makes her come away so well and so effectively.
Do you think she'll be allowed to run like that in the Olympic Games? I mean, can she go to the front and stay there? Or do you think she can run tactically?
Her best tactic is the one that she uses effectively. That's to go to the front and burn the rest off. But inevitably, with the Olympic Games and heats and the fact that there will be more women able to stay with her, she has got to contend with the possibility that she won't be either in the front, or if she is in the front, they're going to be people close to her. And she has got a little bit of a problem at the start of the race. We've seen that. I mean, hardly surprising. She's only 6.5 stone, that she gets bumped and barged. And the girls in the Olympic Games will be quite happy to see her at the back of the field early on. It will be a problem for her. And again, with not having spikes on, there's always that great possibility of getting caught on her feet. So she's got a lot of problems, but, you know, her one great asset is this fantastic ability.
How do you compare with the girl who looks like being the great rival for her, the American girl, Mary Decker?
They're both similar in terms of physique. The two things that Mary's got in her favour are great experience and the fact that she's already proven in international competition what she can do. Zola has come from South Africa, where really effectively she's just been running time trials, and has slipped straight into British international competition. Whether she can make the transformation to world international competition remains to be seen. I think she will. But I think Mary Decker is the one person who does stand in her way because of that experience that she's had over the years.
But what we saw there tonight at the Crystal Palace was a bit special. Eh?
She's a marvellous athlete.
Right. Now, the men's 800 metres, you correctly forecast the winner for me there, Peter Elliott, and I can Billy second. And what about the third spot? You got any ideas about the third spot for the 800?
Well, there are a lot of people in contention. Obviously, Steve Ovett wants to do it and double at the Games. We saw tonight the great pressure that these trials put people under. Peter Elliott, who is the best in the field, there was only one place left. He was quite happy that Steve Ovett stayed at home because he knew that just by winning it he would go. So that's him selected, Seb Coe, and now we've got the third one. I think a lot will rest on the 3A's Championships at Crystal Palace, where, interestingly enough, I believe Steve Cram is going to run the 800 metres, not to try and get in the Olympic team, but as part of his preparation for the 1,500 metres. Mm-hmm. So really, it all boils up to great entertaining athletics. It's not quite so good for the athletes, huh?
Peter Elliott was talking there, of course, about his possibilities for the 1,500. What are your own feelings about the remaining place for the 1,500?
I was a little bit surprised at Peter saying that he merely wanted to consider the 1,500 as an alternative in case he didn't get selected for the 800. I think unless he seriously thinks that he can do as well over 1,500 as he can over 8, then I think he's got to forget that event and we should pick Sebastian Coe. There's no way that if Peter really believes that he can do well in his coach, and he proves it by running between now and the next few weeks a very, very good mile or 1,500 metres, then maybe he should be considered. But if there's any doubt in his mind as to what his main event is and what he really can go for, then I think we should slot Sebastian Coe in, because he's a phenomenal athlete. He's the Olympic champion. He's probably the greatest thing on 2 legs over middle distance when he's on form, and you cannot really leave a guy like that back in England. Or certainly he'll be in Los Angeles, but maybe not in both events.
Now, over the past few weeks in Sportsnight, we've been keeping tabs on your progress towards Los Angeles. What's the latest? Fitness and plans? Tell us something.
I'm training hard at the moment. A few little problems. I've had back trouble and pains in the groin and the stomach, but I'm training hard at the moment and trying to get rid of them. Fortunately, I'm getting a lot of assistance at the moment from medical people, and really, if I can just steer clear of further injury and further problems, start my season late, keep my fingers crossed, and I'm hoping it'll be okay.
Okay, we hope so too.
Thank you.
Anyway, will you stay with us, because we've got some more athletics coming up now. Well, the athletics at the Crystal Palace, sponsored by the HFC Trust and Savings. They've been going on since 7:30 this evening, and a number of finals, of course, took place before Sportsnight came on the air. Well, let's look back now at some of that earlier action, all of which has a vital bearing on who goes to the Olympic Games.
Martin Briggs, the United Kingdom champion at 400 metres hurdles, lines up wearing 1 in lane 6, and it's pretty much a rematch of the Cwmbran meeting of 10 days ago. The first 5 men from that meeting meet again. It's Mark Whitby in lane 1, Steve Soule in 2, Max Robertson in 3, Phil Beattie in 4, Gary Oakes in 5, then Martin Briggs, outside him, Paul Atherton and Stan Devine. Now, Martin Briggs was very impressive at Cwmbran in difficult windy conditions. Gary Oakes failed to clear the final hurdle, but since then, he's won the Southern Championships in 50.9, so he's coming back to form. And he is, of course, the Olympic bronze medalist, and he'll be chasing Martin Briggs. He's got him outside him, but inside him, he's got Phil Beattie from Queen's University Belfast, the 20-year-old who was second in the United Kingdom Championships, and the fast improving, the very good schools champion of 82, Max Robertson, in lane 3. Oh, that was a slow start by Stan Devine right on the outside. He really dwelt on his blocks inside Mark Whitby. The 19-year-old Luton United boy has gone very fast and overtaken Steve Soule, and he's closing the gap on Max Robertson. Right on the outside, Gary Oakes still going well, so too is Martin Briggs, who was wearing blue, Gary in red, and they're having a fair old tussle as Gary Oakes has made up some time on him at the moment. Paul Atherton of Shaftesbury in the lead of the 400-metre mark. These two having a fair race. Oakes is in 5, Briggs is in lane 6, and Gary Oakes comes off this the better, and he really has 4 yards to spare. And this will be another fine run. He ran well, Mark Whitby on the inside, but look at this, Phil Beattie coming up on Martin Briggs. Gary Oakes has hit the last one badly, and suddenly Martin Briggs wins again. He's got Phil Beattie inside him, and then young Mark Whitby, and Paul Atherton is 4, and that is a personal best for him, and he really ran well, 49.87. The Olympic qualifying time of 50.54, and the disaster struck Gary Oakes again, who came off the final bend the better, thought that this time he might have had Martin Briggs, and then ran into all sorts of trouble. Gary Oakes in red, wearing 8 in lane 5. The legs already getting heavy, is in trouble as Phil Beattie inside him, and Martin Briggs outside him comes over, and there's the stagger on that hurdle. Now, this is the fastest run by a Briton this year. He's only 20 years of age, is Martin Briggs, and he's reinforced the form that he showed at Cwmbran. Phil Beattie did well to finish second, and there's the man of the future in this event, the 400 metres hurdles, Martin Briggs, who goes to the Games with that fine qualifying time of 49.87. And as for Gary Oakes, well, it's back to the drawing board again.
Sonia Lanneman in the foreground, and in the background, number 10, Joan Baptiste, have just received the bad news that their entries were too late for the Women's 3A's Championships, so that puts the pressure on them for Olympic selection tonight. They won't have many more opportunities. The full lineup: Sharon Burke of Croydon in 1, Simone Jacobs of Reading in 2, Michelle Scott of Sale in 3, Joan Baptiste, Wolverhampton in 4, Sonia Lanneman, Wolverhampton in 5, Sarah Whittaker, Glasgow in 6, Jane Andrews of Liverpool Harriers in lane 7, and Debbie Warner of Radley Ladies in lane 8. The first 3 go through into the final, and the 2 fastest losers from the 2 semi-finals. Away they go, and Jane Andrews was left rather badly there. Sonia Lanneman going well, Baptiste is going well, and also in lane 2, Simone Jacobs. Simone Jacobs and Michelle Scott's also having a good run. Simone Jacobs wins, Michelle Scott in 2nd place, and in 3rd place was Sonia Lanneman. And Joan Baptiste paid it very badly in the closing stages. Well, that's a marvellous win for the youngster. Simone Jacobs, 3rd in the United Kingdom Championships in the 100 metres, 2nd in the 200 metres, and only 17 years of age. Comes from the Reading Club, and did extremely well last year, of course, when she was second in the European Junior Championship. So the 3 qualifiers, we know. The others, girls must wait and see. Jane Andrews, next to bottom in the yellow vest at Liverpool, got a terrible start. Baptiste is going quite well here, but Michelle Scott, for a 400-metre runner, has run a storming 100 metres. It's Simone Jacobs in the blue vest on the far side who wins. Michelle Scott is in second place. Andrews closing all the time on Lanneman. She may just have caught her. It's very close. I think Lanneman just got into third place, and Andrews, I think, must wait. Yes, she must wait to see if she qualifies as a fast loser. The time, 11.64.
In the second semi-final of the women's 100 metres, Heather Oakes, who won the double at Cwmbran 10 days ago, both the 100 and 200, lines up wearing 1 in lane 4. The full lineup is Wendy Addison in lane 1, then Georgina Aladapu, the 17-year-old, in 2, Shirley Thomas from Hounslow in 3, then Heather, on her right, Helen Barnett wearing 6, then Beverly Callender in lane 6 wearing 9, Pippa Baker wearing 13 in lane 7, and on the outside, Sybil Joseph, who wears number 12. Helen Barnett, who did the 400 as well as the shorter sprints, and Beverly Callender wearing the headband. Beverly not exactly found her form so far this season, better known as a 200-metre runner, but was in the 76 Olympic Games 200 and the 80 Olympic Games, and looking for a place in Los Angeles in #84. But I must say, Heather looked sharp. Her start was good and very effective. The wind is slightly against. It was 0.8 of a metre against in the first semi, and they get away. Shirley Thomas started exceptionally well, but look at this. The two have broken away already, and it's a battle between them, and Heather Oakes is pulling away, and Shirley Thomas just about with her, but Heather is going to get there again. It's a fine run, and there's a big gap then before Helen Barnett. It may have been that made third, but that was faster than the first of the semi-finals. It was 11.33, and that was an impressive piece of running from Heather Oakes yet again. Harringer girl looking very strong indeed. Shirley Thomas was always with her. They both got away well, and within 20 metres that established their authority on this race. Young Pippa Baker in lane 7, the only one with them. But in fact, the wind has swirled just a little bit, and the wind is favourable, and that would show the difference in the time. Now they start surging away. Heather picking her knees up well, really getting a yard and a bit clear on the line from Shirley Thomas. And well, there's the red of Beverly Callender in there, and Helen Barnett, I suggested, was third, and it will take the photograph to sort them out. But definitely a very good win for Heather Oakes, 11.33. The result of that 400 metres hurdles, a win for Martin Briggs, his time 49.86, a lifetime best, and books his berth to Los Angeles. That's an Olympic qualifying standard for Phil Beattie in second place in 50.43, and a best ever for young Mark Whitby in third place, 50.84.
Well, Martin, congratulations. Did you know you had that time in you?
Not really. I thought I might have done from what I ran last year, the amount of training I did last year, but I didn't think I'd do it today.
When you got to the line, did you realise that it was the first time? Did you think it had been that fast the first time you've been under 50 seconds?
Because Gary Oakes came past me at, I think it was hurdle 3, and I thought I was running really slowly. I didn't realise Gary went out that quickly.
I tell you, it's been a fantastic day for you, hasn't it? Because you've confirmed Olympic selection and you've been taking your degree exams at Birmingham University today, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
You passed that as well?
Don't think so. It was a tough exam.
And how do you feel about going to Los Angeles?
Oh, over the moon. My mother will be over the moon as well, my father. So, my mother will get me out of her hair for 3 weeks, so she'll...
They'll be looking in tonight, will they?
Should hope so, yeah.
Super. Well, what were you going to do in July and August?
Watch the telly.
Tessa Sanderson in the 5th round of this javelin. Started off with 67 metres. Very little wind. You can see that her performance has tailed off somewhat, but she's still capable and will have motivated herself before this round. And that's a better throw, I think. It is indeed. It's about 68 metres, 67 and a half, and that may well be the best throw of the series so far. Fatima Whitbread already selected, of course, and one has to keep reminding you of that, because she did so well in the World Championships in Helsinki last year, and on the basis of that was made a member of the elite squad, along with the likes of Coe, Ovid and Cram. Tessa, very athletic, moves so well ahead of the javelin and strikes it much firmer this time. And the end result, 67 metres and 2 centimetres, and that's her best throw of the day, and that converts to 219 feet 10, and that means that Tessa Sanderson is back with 2 throws over 67 metres, and that's world-class throwing. Eric McCallum, the leader in the triple jump through the first half of the first round, saw his lead snatched by just 1 centimetre, that's 16 metres and 44, to clubmate Aston Moore, both Birchfield Harriers, of course. But McCallum, certainly the biggest improver in British jumping this season. Broke the United Kingdom all-comers record indoors at Cosford, setting a personal best indoors or out. Very confident young man and a very good competitor. And that was good. And the crowd appreciating what I think is the lead again. A very attentive crowd down at the start of the home straight. The jumpers jumping towards that crowd. And McCallum, second in the 3A's championships last year, shows tremendous form. Composure, doesn't quite get into the hang at the end, and is a little bit off balance, but it may well be that he's done enough to take back the lead. Keith Connor, already selected for the Games. Connor, one of the world's great jumpers. 16 metres and 79, and that's a significant improvement for Eric McCallum, who acknowledges the applause of the crowd, and rightly so.
8 girls out on the track for the final of the 800 metres, all knowing that the winner, providing that she does the Olympic qualifying standard of 2 minutes and 2 seconds, will go to Los Angeles. We already have 5 qualifiers there on the outside. The 17-year-old Diane Edwards from Sale Harriers, inside her, Anne Purvis, who wears 8. And then Kirsten McDermott in the red of Wales, for whom she won the gold medal in the Commonwealth Games, Wales's first Commonwealth gold for women. Lorraine Baker inside her, Tina Colebrook, Shireen Bailey, Jane Finch and Liz MacArthur. First we've seen of Shireen Bailey, wearing 6 in lane 3 from Croydon, who ran so well last year, was the 1983 United Kingdom champion and the women's 3A's champion. Wearing 7, Tina Colebrook, who's running with her sister Jane Finch here. And Shireen Bailey out of contact right at the back at the moment, not even in the picture, Shireen Bailey. There she is, and only just coming up. So Jane Finch with her sister in close contention. Tina Colebrook, and they're pegging along at a fair old pace. Lorraine Baker tucked in the middle. There's a bit of bumping and boring. Kirsten McDermott finding a way out of that. And it's the Cannock girls who are picking up the pace at the moment. Kirsten McDermott from Bristol running wide on the outside, and suddenly Shireen Bailey has appeared from nowhere, picks up right on the shoulder and is going to take the bell. Now, she really has kept out of trouble, but I wonder whether that cost her. It's just outside 60 seconds. It's 60.1. Shireen Bailey has got Lorraine Baker with her at the moment, much shorter girl. And then Jane Finch wearing 2. A little bit of a gap before we see Tina Colebrook. And there's Kirsten McDermott on the bend having a battle with Tina Colebrook. And finally, Kirsten McDermott has to give way. Shireen Bailey then, the 24-year-old Croydon girl, local girl, with Lorraine Baker on her shoulder. I must say she looks strong and confident. Jane Finch is going with them, but Kirsten McDermott apparently can't close the gap. But look at Lorraine Baker coming hard, the Coventry Godiva girl in black. And again, it's Shireen Bailey that pushes on again as she feels the pressure. Head just slightly to one side, but Shireen Bailey, the Croydon girl, with Lorraine Baker after her, and still Jane Finch in the hunt. Lorraine Baker, and suddenly Lorraine Baker's got more pace, runs onto the shoulder, and in between them is barging and buffing, and that really was an incident, because Lorraine Baker gets to the line first, and suddenly Anne Clarkson comes into third, and Jane Finch pushes her way through. She finished second. She felt that she could finish first, but in actual fact, she stalled herself, pushed Shireen Bailey out of it, stumbled herself, and that pushed Lorraine Baker in. It's 2:02.61, just outside the qualifying standard. And the interesting thing is that Lorraine Baker is not one of the girls that's done the qualifying time. Now watch the girl in the middle, Jane Finch. She pushes, she thought there was a gap, there wasn't a gap, and there really was trouble for Shireen Bailey. It knocked her off her line. There's Anne Purvis coming up very fast indeed, getting third place. And that's an extraordinary one for the selectors, because here's Lorraine Baker winning the event in 2 minutes 2.61. The qualifying standard is 2:02. We've got 6 girls who've done that qualifying standard, but Lorraine Baker is not one of them.
Well, Lorraine, well done, but you've set the selectors a problem there. You've won the trial, but you haven't done the Olympic qualifying time.
No, it was just outside, and it was a really hard race, physical race. So I'll try and do the time in the 3A's Championships. It's about a week or 2 weeks from today.
Do you think you can?
I hope so, yeah. I think I can if I can get a clear run. So, well, I hope I can.
You say a clear run, and you've said a physical race. It was a physical race, that wasn't it? A lot of bumping and boring and pushing. It didn't look very friendly.
No, it wasn't. I think because we're all so close together, we're all looking at each other and banging and getting each other's way, you know. So, and it slowed down after the first 200, so we all grouped up. But I think I'm smaller, so I got through in the end, so it was okay, yeah.
Did you realise there was a bit of bumping behind you between Shireen Bailey and Jane Finch, which really left you free to run for the line?
Yeah, I did know, yeah. I was glad to be out of it. Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Shirley Strong in this final of the women's 100-metre hurdles. Now that the Eastern Bloc, of course, have withdrawn from the Games, taking her on last season's form, she must be in with a chance of a medal of some sort in the Olympic Games in Los Angeles. But this is a trial. She has to prove herself here. The conditions are good, and her competitors are Wendy Giel of Haringey in lane 1, Kerry Robin Millerchip of Birchfield in 2, Pat Rollo of Petrevie in 3, then Sharon Danville of Shaftesbury in 5, Lorna Booth of Hounslow in 6, Heather Ross of Bristol in 7, and Elaine McMaster of Edinburgh Southern Harriers in lane 8. And Lorna Booth got away well. Shirley Strong already leading at the moment, and outside her Sharon Danville going well. And Strong, and inside her Pat Rollo. Strong, Danville and Rollo, these 3 at the moment. Shirley Strong leading. Strong leads it. Danville and Rollo, these the 2. 13-3-1, a clear victory for the girl who holds the United Kingdom record. And really, she showed that she's just a little bit better than the rest of the British hurdlers at the moment. 10 girls have done the qualifying time. That's the Olympic qualifying time so far. The wind, incidentally, -1 metre per second. So that's a very fine performance indeed. She runs so well off the hurdles here and is showing some real signs of sprinting power. And the margin above second place considerable.
Shirley, well done. Always a presumption that you'd win that trial, but of course you've got to come out in the night and do it.
That's right. I mean, I've had a few problems in the last week or so, so to me it wasn't going to be easy, and I knew that. But I won it, and that's what I came here to do. I mean, the time wasn't very good. The wind's against, but tonight it was winning that was important, so I'm very happy with that.
As you crossed the finishing line, there's a little clenched fist. You did a little sort of football-type celebration.
I haven't been as nervous as this since the Commonwealth Games. I was petrified before the race. So I'm just glad that that's over, and, you know, it's one hurdle crossed, I'll say, and now it's just concentrate on the Olympics, so it's great.
Looking forward to the Olympics, your event, of course, will be more decimated than most because of the various nations that are boycotting, and that has tended to make people, 1 or 2 of them, select you as favourite for the medal, the gold medal.
Well, don't expect too much, because until you get out there on the final, anybody can win it, and, you know, nobody's favourite until that day. Just have to wait and see.
But the girls that were ahead of you in the World Championships won't be in Los Angeles.
Well, they won't be now, and training has been going well. We'll just have to wait and see.
Getting ready for the start of the 110 metres hurdles, in which Britain has 1 qualifier already. The Olympic qualifying time is 14.04, and that's Mark Holtham, who's injured. The lineup here tonight: Lloyd Card of North London in lane number 1. In lane 2, Colin Jackson of Cardiff. In lane 3, Hugh Teep of Enfield. Lane 4, Wilbert Greaves of Haringey. Lane 5, Nigel Walker of Cardiff. Lane 6, Paul Bryce of Shaftesbury. Lane 7, Kieran Moore of Wolverhampton and Bilston. And lane 8, nearest the camera, Glenn MacDonald of Bolton. Long hold and they get away. Wilbert Greaves was not too well away at all. Going well in lane 2 at the moment is Colin Jackson. And on the near side, Kieran Moore having a battle. And actually, Teep's gone down, I think, in that crash there. Nigel Walker of Cardiff came through, but all attention really back on the down the track, where Teep, the United Kingdom champion, went crashing down. Actually, the hurdles went crashing down, but just looking down the track, he's staggered his way through to finish. It was a disastrous race for him, and of course he'd got eyes on Olympic possibilities. Let's see where it happened to him. He's in lane 3, got a very good start there indeed. Nigel Walker of Cardiff always going well, and so too is the other Cardiff boy, and Teep is getting into trouble here and losing his rhythm. And bang goes that hurdle, and bang goes his chance as well. He's fairly crashing through them, hardly missing one. Meanwhile, the race itself being won by Nigel Walker of Cardiff. Greaves, after a bad start, comes through very late to take second place, with Colin Jackson of Cardiff in third place. The time outside the Olympic qualifying standard at 14.17.
The final of the 100 metres for women. And here, Heather Oakes wearing one, drawn in lane 5. One of 10 girls who've done the qualifying standard, all of them realising that only the winner will be selected if they win tonight. So, Jane Andrews in lane 1. Sonia Lanneman, how delightful it is to see her back, in lane 2. Shirley Thomas in 3. Simone Jacobs, the very much improved 17-year-old from Reading, in lane 4. Then Heather. Outsider, Michelle Scott, who sprinted very well to make this final. Helen Barnett and Sandra Whittaker on the outside from Glasgow. So Heather Oakes, having had an off-season last year, is now the United Kingdom champion at 100 and 200 metres. Sprinted well. Michelle Scott's on her right, and I must say that Michelle, more used to 400 metres, got away brilliantly, and she's running well again. Heather Oakes has got away well too, so is Shirley Thomas. Shirley Thomas and Heather. Heather coming away now. Heather Thomas and Heather Oakes and Shirley Thomas. It's Heather first, Shirley Thomas, and then Jane Andrews on the far side. The Liverpool Harrier, Jane Christian that was, I think, squeezed in third. Shirley Thomas, generous, goes straight over to Heather Oakes to congratulate her. That's another fine win, 11.38, and I don't think she was ever headed. She was pushed hard, and she ran 11.38 into a breeze of 2.5 metres against. She's already got over the disappointment of seeing her husband, Gary, run badly in the 400 metres hurdles, but that was a brilliant final.
Mark Naylor, left of picture, pacing in the foreground, and he awaits for Jeff Parsons, the favourite for this first place in the high jump, under pressure. His third and final attempt at 2 metres 24. Naylor has the tactical advantage by virtue of a first-time clearance at 2:22. It took Parsons 2 attempts. So, unless Jeff Parsons clears this height, he doesn't automatically go to the games. Naylor wins if Parsons fails here. The United Kingdom record holder, 6 feet 8 tall, from Margate, coached by Ron Murray. Oh, well, Naylor wins the trial, and that has to go down as an unexpected victory, but a very popular one indeed. Naylor, a true competitor, and that's a gentlemanly thing to do. Parsons the first to congratulate Naylor, and so on the night that Jeff Parsons expected to automatically qualify for the games, he finds he's got to fight on another day, and it's Mark Naylor, who's struggled from injury to injury, who's come here and done the job on the night.
David Moorcroft, these Olympic trials at the Palace, they've pointed up 1 or 2 problems that these athletes have. Now, the girl from your own club, for instance, Lorraine Baker, she's won the 800. But still hasn't done the qualifying time for Los Angeles. That's a problem for her, isn't it?
This is one of the interesting things. The idea of the trial was certainly for the first person who finished to actually go to the games. But that's subject to doing the qualifying time, and as yet, Lorraine hasn't done it. I'm delighted for her. I mean, it was a fantastic race, and she certainly deserved to win. What she needs to do now, her and her coach, is to seriously consider the races she's got coming up, and really to try and get abroad and run in a relatively relaxed way, just to get the qualifying time. But all the pushing and barging, she's very lucky actually. Our track in Coventry, there's lots of people train on it, and she trains with all the lads, so she's quite used to all the hammering that the lads give her. And it came over well today that she could handle herself, even though she's quite small.
These sudden death trials, I mean, they really are a test for athletes, aren't they? We heard Heather Oakes and I think Shirley Strong both said that they went there almost terrified tonight, that they'd got to do it.
There's no greater tension than the tension of a trial, and it cannot be worse than if there's just one place going. In the American, our system is right in that we have a combination of the trial, past records, and races after the trial, just to make as further consideration. But in many respects, the American trials, which we really think of as the most cutthroat, are in fact a little bit easier than ours, because at least there you know exactly what happens. First 3 across the line, there's your ticket. As I said, there is no greater tension in the trial situation, especially when only the first one is guaranteed.
Right. Well, thanks very much, David. Nice of you to come with us tonight, and all the best for your own season. I hope you have a tremendous one.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much indeed. And you can see the second half of those Olympic trials from Gateshead in Sunday Grandstand.